Hi there, it's Natasha and thank you so much for joining me today. Today we are going to be creating a very kind of classic card. This has been done lots and lots of times, but I have never made one quite like this. Now, I kind of started off by looking through my stash and thinking I didn't quite have exactly what I was thinking of. And then when I saw this stamp set here, which is the Botanical borders with sentiments, and you can see the top and the bottom stamps there kind of have a line and then some florals coming out of them. Now I wanted something a bit bigger and a bit more bold for my card today, so when I was thinking about what I could kind of turn into what I wanted, I saw these two here. Now the one on the right is the Floral Wonder and the one on the left is Passion Flower. These are both Woodware stamps and they are gorgeous. I have used these in so many videos. I know you guys have seen them over and over again, but they're so versatile. There is so much you can do with this kind of stamp set. Now I'm going to be using some Kraft cardstock today. I use these Tonic ones, but anything is going to work. Or even if you have some craft paper, just make your own, fold your cards over, and you're good to go. I found a nice big thick black brush pen here. And because when I am card making, I like to go for the easy options, I decided that I would just use the width of this ruler, and that would be the both sides of my line. So I am just lining it up diagonally from one end to the other, and this is stamping directly onto the card base. You could definitely just do this onto a card front and then trim it down to go onto a card base, or just whatever works for you, whatever you feel most confident doing. Now I am going to pop this into a stamping platform just because I'm going to re-stamp it again afterwards. But here I could barely decide, but one way that helps me decide is to pull off the kind of front image of the backing paper from the stamp and kind of pop it in place and see what I think is going to work. Because sometimes if I just put the stamp down like I'm doing now, I find it a little bit hard to imagine exactly what I've got there in front of me. So when I can use the black outline that's on the acetate piece of the stamp, then I can get a really good idea. Now this is the 4-inch wide scrapbook.com mint tape. This is just a larger version, a much wider version of the same rolls that I've been using for a little while now, and I love this mint tape. I really love it, but anything is going to work here just to mask off this part of our card because I only want the top done here. So as I said, if you wanted to use a little bit of copy paper, or if you wanted to add a little bit of removable adhesive to the back of it, then you can just use anything at all. Or some of the cheap and cheerful kind of post-it style pieces of paper, anything to work. Now, what I should have done is just left that mint tape down, and I do that the next time I do it, but either. I have a white gel pen and a black gel pen, and then this card is basically going to be white, black, and craft. So I am just, this kind of no rhyme or reason, I'm just doing whatever I want to and filling in some of the leaves, leaving some of them empty. And this is one of those techniques where you can just play and kind of doodle along until it's filled in as much or as little as you would like. And obviously this kind of works with stamps that have open areas. They can have a little bit of filled in bold pieces, but you do need some open areas to color in. And you could do this with anything. If you wanted to make it more than just black, white, and craft, then you could use distress oxides. They would show up nicely on top of the craft paper. And so that would be like another option if you wanted to add color. But I just want to keep it really neutral tones. Black, white, and craft is what I'm going for here. And again, no rhyme or reason as to which leaves or which flowers I'm doing. I just want there to be a mix all over. Now, I did find occasionally that when I was working with the white gel pen that I would go over some of the black elements that I stamped to begin with, and this is why I have kept it in the same position in my stamping platform. I'm going to pop back the mint tape that I should have probably just left at the beginning and go over this again and stamp it down again just so that I get those really nice defined lines. However, I should note that if you just choose to use an acrylic block and stamp this down, then you don't need to do the double stamping. That is a little bit pedantic and you don't need to do it at all, especially if you are really careful in your colouring to begin with. So now I'm going to flip the mint tape around and go on the other side, and I'm just going to clean my stamp off, then pop it down. I do want to use a different angle than I used the first time round, so I don't want it to appear like I've just stamped the exact same thing twice. I like having a little bit of variation in my card making when it comes to doing things like this. We're still using the exact same stamp, so we're just getting a little bit more mileage out of it by changing it around just a little bit. Just as a side note, I'm sure you can hear it in my voice, I am a little bit sick at the moment, and I was trying to wait until my voice had all cleared up and I would be able to do voiceovers without it sounding a little bit funny, but I think hopefully it'll be okay, it'll sound okay. But I do apologize. Now, I am doing the exact same thing here, stamping it up with the VersaFine, and then this time I'm going to leave the mint tape down whilst I colour in the bits and pieces. I am just going to skip through this one. You guys don't need to see me do the same thing exactly again. So I am going to re-stamp it for the final time just to give it that beautiful definition with all the stamped lines. And then once I pull off the mint tape, this card is starting to look really good. This is quite a simple technique, and I really enjoyed it actually. It makes for a perfect one-layer card, which is always really handy when you are having to pop these through the mail. But here's how it looks so far. There are still a couple more things we need to do, of course, including a sentiment. And for this, I was looking at the stamp set that we used in the beginning to kind of inspire this look, and this is the Botanical Borders one, and I love that gorgeous big happy birthday, and coincidentally it's going to fit really nice right down the middle of that line there. Obviously you could have that line to be wider, you could have it to be skinnier, you could even pop up a strip of Kraft cardstock on top of that line going through the middle, but I was going to make this one completely one layer. But just to know that there are always lots of options available. So at this point, I'm definitely going to use the stamping platform because I don't want to muck this card up at this point after all of the colouring and things. The colouring honestly didn't take too long at all, and I quite enjoyed it. I will leave links to the white gel pen that I use underneath this video. I'll leave links to everything else that is still available as well in case you are interested in checking them out. I will also leave links to our Facebook group, which is called Come Crafting with Natasha. If this card has inspired you to do something similar, I would love to see your versions of it and things, so that is a great place to do that. I'm going to add a few tiny little dots here with the same black gel pen, and then this card is finished. Thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye!